Today we're going to be turning this chunk of junk into a bottle stopper, so y'all stay tuned.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, what you see here is off camera. I drilled a 5/16 inch hole in this blank and threaded it with a 3/8 inch tap and have screwed it onto the mandrel, which I got from Penn State Industries, just for bottle stoppers. And I'm making sure that the tool rest does not hit the blank. I'm going to lock it down and I'm going to start turning this here. And don't forget to wear your safety equipment. There's my face shield there. I'll have it on the entire time. And if you have any wood allergies, I would suggest you go to wooddatabase.com to see if you have any toxicities or allergies to certain woods that you're working with. And here I'm just going to take off the corners. Just trying to make it round to start with. And as you can see here, it's pretty aggressive. Pretty aggressive little carbide tip. And after I switch to the square roughing gouge, carbide tip gouge, you'll see that you get a little bit of a catch. And this turns out to be attempt number 1. So in wood turning, there are no mistakes. There are just design changes. So I'm going to be switching to the square-nosed roughing tool here with the carbide bit. And I get a little aggressive here. And I end up getting a little catch right there, and you'll see that it starts to wobble, and my thread's threw out, so that's my fault. So we'll be switching over to attempt number 2, and again, off camera, all I'm doing is drilling a 5/16 inch hole and tapping it with a 3/8 inch tap. Just any 3/8 inch tap will do. Doesn't have to be any specific one. I've got a little Ryobi set of taps that I do. You can see where my threads tore out right there. And that was on me. So this is take number 2, wood blank number 2. Same wood, red oak made. This was actually cut out of a piece of firewood that was slated to go on the fire pit. But however, I do like saving pieces once in a while from the inevitable ash pile. So I'm just threading that on there on that mandrel. And you can see where it seats there is the perfect size for the corresponding bottle stopper kits that I buy from Penn State Industries. So again, we're just making sure that the tool rest is not going to hit. And we're going to start knocking off these corners, making it round. And if you've never done any wood turning or anything like that, it's very therapeutic. The end results are very rewarding. I make bowls occasionally and other things for my own enjoyment. So it's a very calming hobby to have, but I won't go into that. As you can see, again, I'm just turning this thing around from square to round, knocking off those corners. You can see the little chunks are flying there. And this square tip carbide roughing tool from Easy Wood Tools is amazing. You can see how it's just cutting right through that red oak That red oak is hard, very hard wood, but it's cutting through it really good. So I'm just starting to put a taper on here. It's just going to be your standard shape bottle stopper. Nothing too fancy. I'll put some detail in here in a little while. But right now I'm just working on the rough shape of it. I'm trying to turn this taper down. Get my tool rest a little closer. Make sure nothing's going to hit. Lock it down. Get back to it. For those of you who have done any wood turning before, this is a pretty straightforward wood turning process. It goes pretty quick. Again, you can see how aggressive that carbide tip tool is. It's just a monster, man. It takes that wood off like crazy. Now here I want to come back and start working on that taper down to that mandrel, because that mandrel there, it dictates the diameter that mates up to the bottle stopper kit itself. I like to leave about a 1/16 of an inch shoulder there just for visual. I don't like it to taper right into the metal, so that's just me, personal preference. So I'm going to let this run for a little bit, let y'all see what I'm doing here, and I'll come back. And as you can see there, I'm just finalizing the final shape of the bottle stopper. Getting it where I want it. Gonna round this end over. Because the end when I cut it wasn't very parallel, so there was a bit of a wing flopping around down there. So here I am, like I said, just finalizing the end shape there. Okay, so what you see here, ladies and gentlemen, is just a piece of 220 grit sandpaper, and basically just knocking off the rough edges, because that carbide tip tool does a wonderful job leaving a nice smooth finish on that side grain, and even on the end grain of this red oak. I was surprised, to be honest with you. So here I'm just doing a little bit of sanding on the bottle stopper with the 220 grit sandpaper. I have lowered the speed of the lathe about 50% because you don't want it running too fast while you're trying to sand. You might burn or create some friction that you don't want. You don't want any undue heat in your wood, because if it's not completely dry, then you could cause it to crack. But this has been around a while, so it shouldn't be an issue. So we'll keep working at this, and I'll be back. Now, what you're going to see here is I'm just going to use a pencil to mark out some detail lines. Just kind of give it a little extra. And I'll use the Easy Wood Tool detailing tool with a pointed bit to put these detail lines in here. You'll see that in just a minute. Okay, after the sanding, I'm switching over to what's called Myland's Build-Up High Gloss Polish. So this is my first time using this, so if you see me spilling some of it, it's because I'm not used to the bottle that it comes in. But it does a great job. And you want to use a rag, and you really want to soak that stuff into that wood. I didn't put any sanding sealer on that because it was so smooth and it didn't need to be knocked down or anything like that. So I'm going to do this for a little bit. I'm putting it on slow here with the lathe speed. You can see that stuff running all over the place. But anyway, I got the lathe speed down pretty low. And then once I get a few coats of this stuff on here, I'm going to crank up the speed so I can actually create some friction and seal that stuff in. So that's what I'm doing here, just trying to get it in those little grooves that I created, those little details. But that's pretty much it, all I'm doing here. So now I'm cranking up the lathe speed here so I can get some real good friction here. This polish, it does a really good job, but it needs to be set in with some heat, and that's what I'm trying to create here, is some nice friction to set that polish in there. You can see, I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's changing. You can see the shine coming up on it. I can see it as I'm looking at it because I got that light shining right down on there. So this is about coat number 3. And again, this is the first time I've ever used this. I really like the way it turned out. But you'll see here in a minute, I put another coat of the old-fashioned, my old standby Meguiar's car wax on it with a carnauba in it. I really like that, the way it makes it smell and the way it leaves a nice smooth silky finish to the touch. Now what you're going to see me using here is the Meguiar's Gold Class Carnauba wax. It just takes a little bit, not a lot at all. This stuff, it's amazing. I've had this tub for years. I've used it on everything from wood turning to lawnmowers to you name it. So I'm just going to put a coat of that on there. And I've still got the lathe at a pretty high speed, so I'm just going to let it, just going to buff it off here. Let that friction do the work. It's amazing. Just lightly buffing off the end of it and finishing it up. We're getting close to being done here. Again, you want to use a paper towel. You never want to use a rag, because if you get a catch or your rag catches on that lathe, and it could suck your hand right in there, but at least the paper towel will rip and tear away. So you want to be safe. So what you're going to see here now is what the blank started out as. The bottle stopper started out a chunk of firewood that I cut up on the bandsaw into a blank, basically, and then now it's a bottle stopper, as you saw firsthand. Now here's one that I did prior. This is the first one I ever made. Just kind of messing around. That's the same wood. It's that red oak. I'm gonna have to refine that a little bit. But here's the 50 cal, the 50 caliber bullet bottle stopper kit that I bought. And again, you'll see why the threaded mandrel comes in so handy, because it literally just screws right onto the bottle stopper kit. And there's the details I put in the end of it. And it'll screw right on here. It's got a nice smooth finish to it. So again, those 3/8 inch threads right there make it handy. It just screws right on there. And voila, there it is. A 50 caliber bottle stopper. I need to work on my lighting. I need to get a light from the left side there. It's not too bad. I think it turned out great, to be honest with you. I'm kind of partial, but you know, it's going to be cool. I can't wait to make some more stuff. So thanks for being here, you all, and come back for more.
Okay, everybody, I hope you can hear me. I don't have my microphone on, but you just saw how we went from a piece of firewood, right, to a blank, a turning blank, and we turned that into the bottle stopper. So amazing, isn't it? It's been a lot of fun, and I hope you guys enjoyed that. And stay with me, because we got all kinds of different projects coming up. We've got lawnmower stuff. We've got other wood turning projects. I think the next project is going to be how I turn this piece of 100-year-old floor joist into a platter. So stay tuned for that one. So until then, if you all haven't subscribed as of yet, please feel free to do so. I'd appreciate it. And check out my channel, because on the main page there's a lot of other channels that I'd really like for you guys to check out. A lot of good people out there. So until then, you all have a good day, and don't forget, it's donut time.
It has been a pleasure having you all here. Please don't forget to give this video a like, and please subscribe. Last but not least, click the notification bell so you will know when new videos are posted. Thanks to all of you for your support.